talking with Ashley Schmitz about what the IRS doesn't want you to know about your taxes. I'm sure there's more than what she's going to share with us that they don't want us to know about our taxes, but today's going to be a good start for you. Many of you met Ashley at the 3-day event, the LEAP event last week. Ashley is also my bookkeeper. She handles 2 different businesses for me, soon to be 3. She'll be taking on my 3rd business as well, which will be a handful for her to do that. But I know she's capable. And she knows so much that I don't know, to the point where Ashley's picked up the phone and called the Arizona Department of Revenue for me. If you ladies are here, I don't care if you have makeup on or not, it's so tough when you're presenting to look at someone's screenshot and not look at their camera or their face, because we feed off of your energy. So if you're here, we'd love to be able to see you on camera. And I would love for you guys to take some time to drop your information in chat to get to know each other. It's a great way for you to network with each other and get to know each other. So please drop your information, because we tend to see you on a regular basis. So we would love to have you guys drop that in the chat. And for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Colleen Biggs. I'm assuming most of you know, but every once in a while we have ladies show up that have been invited by guests and aren't familiar with who I am. And this platform that you're looking at today is the platform called Teaching Tuesday. We do these every single Tuesday. They've gotten so popular. We started the 2nd Tuesday of the month. It went to the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of the month. And then quickly it rolled into every Tuesday, and we're booked out till January or February, I think, at this point. And this is a popular platform. Why? Because our members get to teach everything they know here for 45 minutes on this platform to you. You get to ask questions, and you get to learn as the community, whether you're a member or just a community member. You get to come for free, invite others for free. And this is our opportunity to teach others, for you to put more tools in your toolbox. And who doesn't want to know where their money's going and how to prevent it from going to the IRS and keep more of it and know what you can write off in your business? These are huge questions that I've had for a long, long time, and that constantly changes. That's the thing that I struggle with the most, is you think you know what you can write off, how you do things, and then before you know it, your CPA or your bookkeeper's like, can't do that anymore. The laws have changed. You're like, crap. This whole year, I thought I could write all that off. And I was like racking up bills everywhere and didn't know. Or it changes in our favor, which is rare. And then we can do things and write things off, and we don't realize it. So this is a very popular platform. If you're not a member of Lead Up for Women, this is the opportunity for you to be on this platform, for you to be able to teach, make an offer, to bring people into an event that you're having, whatever it is, for you to be able to take that advantage of that time. So I'm going to drop the link into chat for anyone who isn't a member that's considering to be a member. And if you are a member, please private message me if you've not signed up for a Teaching Tuesday, because I will send you the link privately in this meeting today. That way you can get yourself signed up for a Teaching Tuesday. So Ashley, I am going to let you take it away. Everyone knows how much I love you, what I feel about you. Ashley is my accountability partner as well. I talk a lot about accountability partners, and Ashley is mine. We talk to each other every single week. We text each other on a regular basis. It used to be every single day. And whenever I'd say, this is what I have to do today, I've got to get this done, she would check me back at the end of the evening, and she'd say, I have to ask, what didn't you do to get that done? Like, she would hold my ass to the fire. And I like that about Ashley. You need to have an accountability partner that's going to hold your butt to the fire for things that you need to get done. That is a lot of what we talked about last week at the event. So Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away, my girlfriend. And I'm going to spotlight you just so everyone can see you on the screen with you talking, and then I'll manage to letting people in and putting stuff in the chat.
Awesome. Well, cool. I'm so excited to get to talk with you guys today. That's a big Ashley. I need to change that myself. Woo! Okay. So just a little bit about me. I am a United States Army veteran. I served for 4 years. I met my husband in the military, and I'm a teen mom. And I don't know how many people are super pumped to say, ooh, I'm a teen mom, but it's something that I am actually really proud of because, well, I feel like I got my stuff together very young because I had to, and I was very motivated to make sure that my child had the life that he deserved and that I had the life that I deserved, because I had big, audacious dreams as a young mom, and I was not going to let anything come in my way of that. So I had a baby, 16, graduated high school, left my pom-poms on the basketball court, and I decided, you know what, why not join the military? Because I have a very odd sense of, weirdness to go and thank you. I have a very odd sense of weirdness to just do what is, thanks, Theo. Sorry, these are my 4 children that don't respectfully stay out of here of my life, but that's nothing new for me. So I joined the military, met my husband, and we have now been married for 11 years. We have 4 children, 3 dogs, and a crazy life that we are living. And in the Army, I was taught quite a few things, but if anybody is from the military, they know that there are the Army core values. There's the loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, integrity, honor, and personal courage. And that's something that I think all of us business owners should be taking into our business. I love being loyal to my clients. You can ask Colleen. I am loyal as they come. I love them. I love on them. And I also hold them accountable. I make sure that you know what's going on in your finances, because when you know what's going on, you're less susceptible to bad things happening to you in your finances because of what you're doing. I want to make sure that people are aware and that they're up to date with what's going on so that they can make proactive choices instead of being reactive to their finances and then maybe being reactive to what's going on in their taxes and all of these things. Like it's so much easier to be proactive than reactive, in my opinion, just because I like knowing what's going on and making plans instead of looking back and being like, dang, I really wish I would have done something different. So today we're going to talk about a couple of things that I just want to make sure that business owners are aware of so that they are staying on top of their finances, so that you are making sure that you're doing right by your business. And then I have a cool gift for you guys at the end. So make sure you stick around for it. First, we're going to be talking about your chart of accounts. Now, how many people here absolutely love their chart of accounts? No, it's probably just me. That's okay. That's all right if you don't love your chart of accounts, but I'll tell you why it's super important for you to have a very good, crystal clear chart of accounts. The reason why is all of these different buckets, we'll call them, feed onto your taxes. And when you're putting things on your taxes, you want to make sure that you are taking the best write-offs for your business. You want to make sure that you are paying the least amount of money to the IRS, because I think this is a question that anybody can raise their hand to. Who doesn't like paying money to the IRS? Do you not like? I like keeping my money. Does anybody else like to keep their money? No? Okay, good. At least somebody else does. I like keeping my money from the IRS. I like to make sure that I am keeping my money for the things that I want in my life. And if I can write it off, I'm going to write it off. And knowing where things are on your income statements and knowing where things are on your balance sheet, that all stems from having a really good chart of accounts set up so that you are able to decipher where things go on that tax form. Colleen, who's barking? Barking? Okay. Okay is barking. That's all right. But so in that, making sure that your financial statements are reading correctly and making sure that that chart of accounts is set up so that you are able to feed onto your tax forms will save you a lot of money in the future, knowing that you're paying for Zoom, knowing that you're paying for your utilities, being able to write off that office space that you have, doing all of those due diligences beforehand will make tax time that much easier. So I'll tell you about a client that I had who has her chart of accounts all set up, but she wasn't putting things in the proper place. So she was any client expense that she was accruing. So she is an interior designer, and any of the products that she was buying to be placing into her client's home for organizational purposes or whatnot, those are her cost of goods. But she was taking them as an expense to her business, but she wasn't able to write them off because of where she was putting them in her chart of accounts. So she's losing out on showing that she was spending all of this money on her clients. And in turn, she should have been able to take that off of there because that wasn't her money that she earned. So she was actually paying taxes on money that she spent for her clients. And that was not serving her in her business in any way, shape, or form. But once we had the breakdown and we were able to talk about this is why you're accruing these expenses, this is where it should be showing on your income statement, which is in your cost of goods. You want to make sure that you're showing those in the proper places so that when your tax professional is looking back on those reports, they're not going and fine-tooth combing through every single transaction that you had for the year. They're looking at your income statement, they're looking at your balance sheet, they're looking at your statement of cash flows, and they're saying, okay, these are the numbers that are reading here. This is what I'm putting on your tax form. I know that just because, well, I do taxes and it's not my forte. It's not my favorite place to be, but in knowing how your people are, how their mindset is towards doing your taxes and shoveling out those tax returns, which most CPAs are doing. They're not keen on spending that due diligence with their clients. They're keen on making income during tax season. They are not going to do diligence through your every single transaction. So making sure that those transactions are in the proper place for your CPA is incredibly important. Receipts and organization. Who likes keeping a bunch of paper around their house? I'm not even going to throw my hand up. I can't stand it. I cannot stand having all of my receipts, but the IRS makes you do it. So this is my suggestion with your receipts and organizing all of the information that you need to keep for your taxes. I love Google Drive. It's absolutely easy. There's a software that Colleen and I use. It's called HubDoc. But the easiest and free way for people is in your Google Drive. I love to take a picture of a paper, of a receipt, anything that I need to be keeping for the IRS and for my taxes, take a picture of it. I put it in my Google Drive. I organize it in there, probably a little too anally, but I organize it in my Google Drive. But then I take that physical form and I throw it in a box and I let it sit in my 2021 box, because if I were to ever get an audit, I can easily just hand it right back to them and say, here you go, have fun. You look through all of my stuff. I know it's connected to my software. I know that I can pull up a digital form for it, but at the end of the day, the IRS is very government, hurry up and wait type situation. So they want a physical form. But if that form were to fade, if you get audited in 7 years, do you think the ink's going to look the same on that piece of paper as it did 7 years ago? Absolutely not. It is not going to look the same. Things fade. And then if you're taking things on your taxes and you don't have something to back it up and prove it, then the IRS can say, oh, wait, we are not going to accept that. And coming to receipts and organization, our dear friend here, Colleen, she came to me at a conference last year up into Chicago, and she handed me a nice stack of papers. And she just went, here you go, have fun. I needed to be able to get through those and to make sure that I had them so that everything for her taxes could be compliant. So I went through my system and I shoveled it through. I got it done in a couple of hours. I think I got through a year's worth of stuff in a couple of hours so that I could be able to give it back to her. So when she got on a plane, she could have her physical copies, but I had the digital copies that I needed. And so making sure that you have somebody in your corner that, one, likes doing this stuff, but two, knows how to walk you through how to get compliant is absolutely, it's just huge. And does it change if you're a nonprofit? Does what change if you're a nonprofit?
Does the fact that you have to keep your receipts?
No, that doesn't change. You have to keep your receipts no matter what kind of business, because the only thing with a nonprofit that's different from a business is that you're not taxed, and you have to actually, nonprofit bookkeeping is a lot more strategic and it's a lot harder because there are grants that you're getting and there's, donors' money that you're having to watch. And there's a lot of differences that come with business and nonprofit bookkeeping. So I would actually say it's probably 100 times more important that you're keeping your receipts and everything, and that you're keeping good records of what's going on in your nonprofit. Because when you go to fill out your tax forms at the end of the year and you don't have things to back it up, the government's going to ask why. And depending on what state you're in and what the IRS requirements are for that state, I know here in Illinois that if you make over $250,000 gross, that you have to have a special ethical audit done by a third-party CPA every single year on your taxes. And they're very expensive and they're very unforgiving. So making sure that you keep all of that it's huge to me.
So what if you miss a receipt? Are they gonna come after you?
No, I mean, over a receipt, I don't think anybody's perfect. I would definitely say the best way that I think of, and this is the practice that I put just for myself personally, is anytime I get a receipt, I take a picture of it. I don't know even if it stays on my phone until later in the month when I have it on my task list to go through all my receipts, I leave that picture on my phone. I take a picture of everything just so that I lose receipts. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. And I don't throw every single one of my receipts into my box, but I do have a picture of every single receipt that I have used this year. So I think that it's definitely at least best practice to make sure that you're at least taking a picture of it so that you can go off and print it if you need to, if something were to ever happen. But the likelihood of getting audited is low, in my opinion, unless you're doing something that's going to red flag the IRS for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Are there any more questions before I keep talking very fast? No? Okay, cool. So I'll just continue back on to my fast talk. All right, so we're gonna go over different taxes that your business, that they're accruing and that you need to make sure that you are tracking diligently. So sales tax. If you are offering products to people and you are required by the state to be doing your sales tax, you need to make sure most sales tax is done monthly, one for your state. There could be state, county, and city sales tax that you are paying. So you need to make sure that you are checking with your local entities so that you are tracking properly, charging properly. But the thing that I need to stress the most, and that some people really don't understand sometimes, is it's not your money. That is not your money. The money that you are making from your sales tax is not your money. It's the money that you have to give the IRS or to your state. You do not want to keep that. That is not your money. And sometimes people get into big trouble because they're keeping that money, using it for other funds in their business, and then they're not paying the state. And let me tell you, the state is unforgiving. I have a client who has 3 restaurants in the state of Illinois. During COVID, for one of her restaurants, actually for 2 of her restaurants, she was not paying her sales tax to the state. And she went all year without paying her sales tax. And the state kept saying, hey, why aren't you filing? Hey, why aren't you paying? Hey, what's going on? And she just kept not paying it and putting her head in the sand until finally the state said, we're going to take your businesses. You're not paying us. Your license has been suspended for us. Your business license has been suspended. You're not going to be able to operate unless you find a way to pay us. And so she enlisted my services. We were able to actually figure out, because she hadn't been filing, she hadn't been tracking her numbers, she wasn't able to know until we actually sat down and did a deep dive into her finances of what she was owing the state. And so we sat down, we got that number. We were able to then tell the state how much we actually owed them, which ended up being $64,000 at one restaurant. And in that, they were very, I'm shocked, forgiving, and they were able to put her on a payment plan. So not only is she doing her payment plan, but she is paying her sales tax now regularly so that she's not in bad standing with the state. But in her $64,000, she had another $40,000 in fines. And we will get into that. But that's huge. If you're not paying your sales tax, if you're not, remitting this to the state, and you're thinking that it's just money that you can keep and, oh, I'll get to it. That was her process. She was in the middle of COVID. We were all stressed, and she was just like, okay, I'll get to it next month. I'll pay that next month. I'll pay that next month. And it just kept going and going and going until it finally catches up with her of, okay, now you're not going to have a livelihood if you do not start paying your sales tax. We're just going to take that away from you, because they have that power to just stop. So finally she got on the right track, and she was able to get her fines and stuff forgiven, but she still was $64,000 in the hole, and had to figure out how to be paying that back on top of everything else that she was still paying on the regular. Whew. But now we're going to go into payroll taxes. If you have employees, you need to know that withholding, again, something that needs to be stressed, and it scares me, but the withholdings that you have to pay to the state and to the IRS, that is not your money. It is not your money to play with. And that's actually your employees' money that you're taking. And even if you're putting that in your business and you're using it, it's still money that was supposed to go towards your employees. And at the end of the year, it's just scary that is money that needs to be given to the IRS, and people weren't. It depends on what state you're in, Mary. But in the state of Illinois, you do not get charged on services. There is a weird stipulation with the state of Illinois that says it's actually for like photographers and artists. If you are providing a service of photography and you give somebody a hard drive, you have to charge sales tax on it. But if you just send them pictures over the cloud and you send their pictures digitally that way, you don't have to charge sales tax on it. So I would definitely recommend, depending on what your business is and what state you're in, look up your laws to your profession, because I know in just that, I was talking with an artist, and the reason why I know is because I had to do some research, but I was talking with an artist who was told that on any of her photos that she was giving, any of the pictures that she was painting, she didn't have to remit sales tax on. But come to find out, the state had changed 10 years ago saying that you do have to charge sales tax on that. So thank goodness she hadn't been doing it for long, but she did the right thing and went back and made sure that she figured out how much sales tax was owed, took that out of her own pocket, because that's the other thing is if you're not charging sales tax, or you're not charging enough sales tax to your clients, the state doesn't care how much your sales tax was. They just care that they get paid. So hopefully you have somebody in your corner that can help you out and know the rules and the laws in your specific state. But back to payroll tax, with your withholding and everything, I had a client that she was working in her business. She was a daycare for 4 years, and she had multiple employees. And she filed taxes her first year. Her second and third year, she didn't file her business taxes or her personal taxes, because all of the money that she was withholding from her employees, she was redirecting back into her own bank account, not remitting that to the IRS or to the state. And then she was using those funds to run her business. And she was very cash flow negative at that time. She was feeling the heat, and she just thought, again, next month, next pay period, next quarter, I'll be able to pay it eventually. It went on for 2 years, and upwards of $160,000 that she hadn't been remitting in withholding taxes to any of the entities, and it catches up with you. Eventually, it catches up with you always. I think that's something that a lot of us know, is that it always catches up to you eventually. And in that, she was able to, really sit down, reflect, figure out what her number was. We sat down and we went through all of the history that she had, and we were able to, again, very forgiving the IRS. I don't know why, but they were very forgiving, and they were able to make a payment plan. She's still paying that back right now, but they were able to remit everything, and she was able to move forward with her business so that she wasn't having to worry about that. But we'll talk about self-employment tax, because I think a lot of us here are self-employed single member LLCs, solopreneurs, whatever you want to call it. There's self-employment tax when it comes to your business, and making sure that you are putting away for it, that you're paying estimated taxes, or anything that goes with your business, with your taxes, making sure that you're being aware of that is absolutely crucial. I'll just be real. This story is about me. And my first year of business, I had everything set up. I thought I was wonderful. I'm like, okay, my LLC is set up. I'm paying myself. I'm pulling out money for taxes. I'm ready for this. Like, I'm doing great. And I had a really great year, but then tax time came and I went and I filed my taxes and I was smacked with a $19,000 tax bill. And I had not put aside $19,000. I did not know at that time because I was just doing bookkeeping. I wasn't interested in taxes. And I thought that putting money aside, I've got 4 kids, I've got deductions. I know that I have to do it on a Schedule C. And I didn't realize how much self-employment tax was really going to bite me. And in the end, and so $19,000 gets smacked on your lap and you're like, wow, I didn't know I had this. And then if I have a better year next year, what's that going to look like? And so the reality of being slapped with something like that was, okay, now I can make a plan. Now I can sit down, I can look at my numbers, I can work with my CPA, I can make a plan into what I need to do to be withholding taxes and making sure that I'm paying the right amount in estimated taxes. So I'm not having this large tax bill at the end of the year, because the IRS is, for your first year of business, if you're not paying estimated taxes, they're forgiving. The second year, I don't believe there's penalties and fines, but going into penalties and fines, your third year, if you are not paying estimated taxes, I know that the IRS is going to start tacking on fines. They're going to say, why aren't you paying us? And that's going to be a red flag. And I don't know about you, but I do not mess with the IRS and I don't mess with God, because I think that they can royally screw your life if you want to. So I do not mess with those two people. So with the penalties and fines that are going into this, all of these stories that I told you, everybody had a bunch of penalties and fines that came to it. Because of the time that they came to, and they were able to talk with the state and they were able to talk with the IRS, they got their fines remitted, or they were able to just completely write them off. But in the case for the pizza joints, she had $40,000 in taxes, or in penalties and fines that were looming over her. Not only did she have a $64,000 tax bill for one, then she had another company that she wasn't paying taxes on. So we had to figure that one out. But for that one business, she almost doubled what she was going to have to pay the state, because she wasn't paying on time. She didn't know her numbers, and it was just not the greatest time for her. So it was really important for her to be able to find those. And then back for the daycares, again, she had $160,000 in taxes that she wasn't paying. The taxes go hand over foot every single month. And they tack on more, and they tack on more to what you owed, and they keep tacking it. And it's compound, and in not the right way that I like. I like to have compound interest where I'm making money. I don't like compound interest when the IRS is making money. So definitely looking at that and making sure that you are paying everything that you're supposed to is absolutely crucial to making sure that you're running your business correctly. But today I have something for all of you. I do a long in-depth class of your finances for your bookkeeping and making sure that you are staying on top of it. We go through merchant processors and softwares that you can be using and the do's and don'ts of everything business. And I wanted to offer it to you guys today. I am running a class on the 26th, and it's called the Business Bookkeeping Bootcamp. And I would love for all of you guys to be able to come. It is a $27 class. It is way in depth to everything that I just barely skimmed over today. It is a 5-hour class, and you will get so much out of it. If you want to know what's going on in your finances, if you want to be on the right track with your business and you want to be able to do that yourself, I really suggest coming to this class because it will dig into absolutely everything that you need to know as a business owner for your bookkeeping. So, does anybody have any questions? Nobody?
I do.
Oh, cool. Hi, Nicole.
Hi. I have a intuitive business. I'm a tarot card reader. Colleen has helped me with a few things about like making sure I'm ready and up and running, right? Like if it's a sole proprietor, LLC, stuff like that. But I sell jewelry as well. So my question to you is that because I'm in the beginning process and I haven't made a lot of money, like per se, based on some of the other entities you talk to, when and how much will the IRS come to me in this, like the amount I'm making? Like, cause I'm not making like thousands and thousands of dollars. So when do you suggest that process should start for me more in depth with the IRS? Is it like a certain amount of money you need to start claiming? Because I'm in New Jersey, so some of the laws may be a little different. So what is your suggestion, knowing the IRS, when do I start doing all of that?
When do you start bookkeeping?
Well, no, I do the bookkeeping. I have the box like you have. I have the receipts. I have copies of the receipts. On the bookending, I'm good. But I mean, when the IRS, when do you start as a company, dollar amount that you're making money? Like, do you submit it even if you're at a loss? Like, I don't know how any of that works.
So, I mean, so it depends. So estimated taxes are based off of what you made last year and what the then government is saying that you're going to potentially project for next year. So what I do as a rule of thumb and what I like to look at, even if my estimated, I'm making a lot more money than I did last year. And that's what any business wants to do, is they want to hand over foot, make more money. And so what I do is I look at what my net number was as an LLC. I'll look at what my quarterly net number is, and then I will base what I'm paying on my estimated taxes, which seems to be like double what they told me I should. I pay what looking at my net number is, and I will pay that percentage to my estimated taxes. So I pull out 30% of my net number and I pay that in estimated taxes.
Ashley,
Well, I don't have it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Nicole. Finish up your question.
If I don't have a number, then I'm okay, right? So when I start making more money coming into the future and becoming very successful and, highly profitable, at that point, I have a net and a base to go by, correct?
And if you're running a loss right now, I wouldn't worry about it, because on your loss, you're not going to be charged self-employment tax on your loss.
That's what I was asking, because it's a newer business.
No, but if you're running a business, you need to be reporting that loss.
Yes,
if you're running a business, that's the other huge thing. If you're investing, everyone knows it's not a secret. The first year that I started Lead Up for Women, I had a huge loss of money that I put into the business. That has to be reported because I got a lot of money back that year. Okay. So just think about that. You need to know the tax laws, whether you're making money or not making money, because it matters both ways. And actually, there's a lot of questions that were happening in the chat that you might want to go back that started about 10, 15 minutes ago. Start answering those.
I thought I saw how many years. You need to keep your receipts for 7 years. I have 7 boxes. And then the thing that I love is after I file my taxes, it's usually, in the April-ish time when I go and file my taxes, because I wait until last minute because I do everybody else's first.
Oh, I do mine way late. I just filed mine last week. I get an extension, but that's really if you own a business, you might want to think about filing your taxes a little later than before April if you're not like expecting a refund, which if you ask my opinion, you should never be getting a refund back from the IRS or the state. You should be keeping that money all year long. And if you're getting money back, something's not being reported correctly, and you're going to have to work on your expenses and how much you're taking.
Because you don't want the IRS to be your savings account. Like I don't. And that's why I look at my number. I look at my number and I base it off of, and I work with my CPA, but I work off of what I'm netting because of the status of my business. If I were a corporation, I would be doing it differently. But as an LLC, I like to look at what my net number is, and I make sure that I'm paying enough in taxes. But I also then have to be aware of the fact that I do have 4 children, and how I file my tax form matters, and the house that I own. So any of the assets and things that you're going to be able to write off, like what's my standard deduction going to be for my office, and all of these different things, making sure that if you're working with somebody that knows what they're doing in your taxes, the government will never have more money than you're supposed to be giving them. 7 years though. Oh, I have a bonfire after I file mine and I have my next 7th box, I have a bonfire to celebrate. Because
there's some more questions. One was, do you pay taxes on services or just goods for products? You answered that one. Okay.
And then, so the 7 years, nonprofit, it's more crucial. When do you list your services as a business and how much do you submit? I think that was Nicole's question, and I think I answered that.
Okay.
If we pay for the class and can't attend, will it be taped? No, it will not be taped.
She'll have another class. Usually, I mean, that's how, it's very interesting is, I'm glad we're talking about this today because that's how Ashley started her business, really, right? She has these events to get people to come to the events. She teaches you all about it. And then you have to decide from that point moving forward, do I want to do all of this myself? Because it has to be done. There's no way around this. No way around taxes, no way around the IRS, no way around. If you run a business, there's no way around it. You either do it yourself or you pay someone to do it. It is that easy. So she teaches you everything you need to know so you could go do it yourself. That's why she charges for the event. Because she's teaching you, it's a workshop. You walk away and you're done. You either decide at that point, thank you, I love this. I will walk away with everything you gave me and I will figure it out myself and download QuickBooks and do all that and pay for the subscription. Or you decide to have Ashley get you out of pain, which is what I did. I was in a lot of pain and I said, I can't do this anymore. So it's a great business model. Someone just put that, because how else do you attract people to know what you're doing to help them understand what their responsibility is for taxes? It's the crap that we don't want to talk about. It's the stuff in our business that's not fun. And I refuse to spend months trying to get my taxes together like I did last year when I could be spending that time making $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 that month. Instead, I pay Ashley to take care of it for me. So I make way more money paying Ashley to take care of it for me. That's a difference of a mindset that everyone needs to understand. You either wait until you have the money to hire someone like that, or you take the time and do it yourself. And like we talked about last week, what is your time worth? Is it worth sitting down and doing your taxes? I don't know anyone that's been able to do all their books every month and have all that done that's a business owner that's not a tax professional or a bookkeeper that can do it in less than 2 to 3 hours total for a month. Add up what your time was worth, multiply that by how much it's now costing you that you could be selling, and it's just a no-brainer.
Absolutely.
That's why you hire people. But obviously, I'm not plugging for you to hire just Ashley. I'm saying of course I am, because she's my bookkeeper and I think she's amazing. I'm saying regardless, every single one of you have to have this education. And if you want to run a legitimate business, that's a big girl business that you don't want to get sued in someday, because did you know someone can sue you because they didn't like your advice? Oh, I got taught that lesson. You can be sued if someone doesn't like your advice. So that's why you have to have business insurance, which is a whole nother topic that we could talk about.
That we go over.
Yeah,
in the boot camp.
Ladies, this is real stuff. Like the IRS doesn't give a crap about what you're struggling with in your life. They will garnish your wages and they'll pull money regardless. So know your stuff, because this is how you keep the most of your money and not let the IRS take it from you. They're not on your side. They're not on your side like, oh, hey, we want to help you out. No, trust me when I tell you I overpaid 4 or 5 years ago and have never seen that refund. And do you think they're going to give me back interest on that refund? Hell no. But the second I pay late, They tack on all kinds of late fees, all kinds of interest fees, but they owe me thousands of dollars and still haven't given it back because I made a mistake and paid twice one year when I was only supposed to pay once. It was just I tried to prepay the next year and it was just an accident. They were like, we don't care. We'll get around to it in 5 years.
Yep.
So you have to take control of this. What did Grace Ann say in the chat? I didn't see it.
I use QuickBooks, but have my bookkeeper look at them over every 6 months, right before they go to the accountant.
That's great. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have someone that you can hire to take care of that for you. Because again, Grace Ann, we don't know the laws, right? Like they keep changing constantly. The laws between, and then now we've got all of the all of the extra money that we received from the government that most of us didn't ask for, didn't want, and they just sent checks.
Yeah, if you got an SBA loan, that's going to look different on your taxes this year. Anything that you did that you got a handout from the government for, which was needed in this time. Don't get me wrong, it was needed, but now it's going to be looking completely different on how you reconcile it on your taxes. Like I know that there's a lot of people that didn't realize when taking that PPP loan and then get it forgiven that, okay, now I'm going to have to be taxed on the money as income.
Yeah.
The government wasn't doting that around when they were, advertising it on TV to go get your PPP loan.
Mary asked a question about sales taxes, and I know Ashley goes over this in her workshop, and it's only $27, y'all. $27. Like that is not a lot of money to sign up for her class. And I know Ash that if you're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't make it. When's your next one? Can I go to the next one? She'll transfer over your payment to the next one. There you go. 14th. So write those dates down. Go ahead and put them in the chat when your next two are. You guys need to get signed up for this. So just let her know which one you want to sign up for. Sign up for it because you've got to learn, right? We've got to learn either way. And
to answer Mary's question, the state of Arizona has their, what's the thing called? Hold on.
Arizona.
Is it? Oh, I just have it saved on here. Hold on. The aztaxes.gov. If you go on aztaxes.gov, you can look up if you have sales tax, where in like what city, depending on what city you're in and all of that, you'll be able to see what the tax rate, because the tax rate will be different for the state versus the city versus the county. Like if you're in Maricopa County and all of this, it can just be completely different. So you'll have to look up on that website, and here, I'll throw it in the chat real quick.
And then Ashley, make sure you go to the Facebook video, because a lot of women ask us if they can see this somewhere. And we always tell them that it's available on the Facebook page for them to go back and watch it. So I definitely can tell you that they're going to want this link after watching this.
You can sign up with that link for the October 14th one, and I'll put you on that list.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that most of you may not realize. There's a lot of stuff you have to do before the end of the year, before December 31st, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like the cutoff date. So it doesn't matter if you do it in January, it doesn't count. It has to be done by December 31st. That's why a lot of business owners reconcile with their bookkeepers before the end of the year to say, like, what tax rate am I in? Do I need to have more expenses, or do I need to like show more income? That matters too. If you're a business owner, my husband and I, learned this very quickly. When you're business owners and you're trying to qualify for something, they're using your tax returns, and based on how much money you're showing that you make, what you really make, but what you're telling the IRS that you make, totally two different numbers, right? Because you have a lot of expenses in there. So you've got to be on top of this. And I love Dawn said, yeah, you've got to be on top of this for the end of the year. And, Dawn in Hey Taxi, like she wrote in the chat, she has ongoing support that she is teaching all of you all about taxes because she had this happen to her. So she's another great resource for questions on taxi. You guys met her at the 3-day event. She was one of our sponsors. So make sure you connect with her on here as well, because she has a whole program that is an ongoing support for you to be able to learn how to do all of this yourself, right? So this is that ongoing support for you to do it yourself. Ashley, you just put all the information in the chat. What was the question?
What time does it start and what time zone? And it is 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Central Time. And it's going to be that any time that this event is. So whether the 26th or the 14th, it will always be in Central Time. And I know that people in Arizona, we will be an hour apart in October. I think I don't know if the time changes then, but
yeah,
we'll be an hour apart then. We're 2 hours apart right now. So it would be 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Your time, Mary.
Awesome. So thank you so much, Ashley. That was a ton of great information. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate you being here to teach all of them. So this is all the crap that no one wants to talk about. This is all the stuff that no one wants to deal with. But unfortunately, this is what I love about this. And I say it this way. It's a good problem to have when you need to hire someone to do your books because you're making so much money. That's what I say. It is a good problem to have when you have so much money that you're not sure what you need to report to the IRS. So with building wealth comes all these problems that are great, welcoming problems to have. So get to know your taxes, get to know what you need to be doing, how you should be writing things off. And like I said, she's got a great class for you to learn how to do that. And I know Hey Taxi's got some great stuff going on as well. So a couple of things real quick, ladies. September 2nd is our Lunch and Learn. That is our networking event that we do once a month, the first Thursday of every month. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If you have not attended or want to attend, I highly recommend it because I give it to you for free. Right now, we generally charge $20, but our members, let me put the code in here. Member LNL is, if you're a member of Lead Up, you're going to use that. If you're not a member of Lead Up and you want to come and network with these ladies, that some of the ladies you've met today and about 30 other ladies that will be on that call. September 2nd is when we're going to be doing our next Lunch and Learn. Grace Ann, don't you worry about it, because October would normally be, the first Thursday of October would be our next one, but I'm going to be in Cancun. I deserve a week-long vacation this year, and I have already bought it. I'm already heading out. That's my vacation. So I'm doing the Lunch and Learn on September 30th. So Grace Ann, you can just come to that one. I think you've been to those before. So I invite all of you to come to, I was just going to say come to Mexico. I do invite you all to come to Mexico with me because it would be a hell of a party. So you're more than welcome to come to Cancun with me. I'll even share what resort I'm staying at. But in addition to that, September 30th will be the next one. When you go to the Lunch and Learn page, you can sign up for the next 3. So just remember that the next 3 you sign up for, you don't have to worry if you can't get one. Just go register for all 3 of them or the next 2 months that you can go to. Invite a guest. If you're a member, we give it to you free because we want you to invite a guest so other women get to expand their influence and you get to expand your influence and attract the right clients from all the other members that are inviting other people as well. So that's the first announcement I wanted to make. The second announcement I already dropped in the chat, which is actually our chapter director for our local chapters. We started 2 local chapters, and that was about all the bandwidth I had before the 3-day event and the membership drive. And we're going to be launching about another 4 to 6 by the end of the year. So look out for those. If you are in surrounding areas of right now, the Arizona chapter and the Illinois chapter, Ashley's continuing to do hers online because of some state regulations, all the meeting in person, people aren't quite ready for that. So you get 2 networking events per month that are 90 minutes long. And that's when you can network with other ladies directly in your area, which is really good to do for a lot of your products and services. And then you get to network worldwide with me once a month at the Lunch and Learn. So I have tons of gifts. At my last Lunch and Learn, when I said I want to give away more gifts, a lot of ladies came and said, here, these are gifts that you can go ahead and give away. So I have a whole list of gifts. If you are a member of Lead Up for Women and you have an offer that you want to give to women at these Lunch and Learns, I spin a wheel and I give away 2 to 3 gifts every time. So please send me that information at info@Lead Up for Women. If you want to give away a consultation or something of value, that's a gift that they can't just book on your website. That's what we want to avoid. If it's like a free 30-minute call with you, that's not going to work out, right? So you guys definitely want to make sure that you're giving something of value. Our next Teaching Tuesday that you guys can sign up for, I'm looking at it right now, going to see who is doing our next Teaching Tuesday. I'm sorry I didn't have that information up and ready. It is going to be how to grow your business through speaking. Lisa Reed is going to be here for the next Teaching Tuesday, how to grow your business through speaking. She's awesome, you guys. So if you want to be a speaker, if you are a speaker, I highly recommend that you attend the next one. Someone said, is there a lunch and learn on August 19th? This Thursday, yes, the chapter meetings. They are the third Thursday of every month. So this Thursday is Illinois and Arizona chapter meetings. They start at 11 a.m. Pacific, both of them at the same time. So they both run at the same time. So 1 Central, 11 Pacific. And we've been sending out some notifications about that. I know Ashley and Julie have been sending out notifications. So all you have to do is just click in the link and go sign up for that. You can go to our events page on leadupforwomen.com, scroll down and just click on chapter meetings. All the dates are listed for the next ones. I think there's 2. This month and next month are listed for you guys to jump in there and take advantage of it. So thanks for joining us today. Ashley, thank you for your amazing lesson today in Teaching Tuesday. All the crap we don't want to learn, but have to know all about.
Yep, always. Thanks for having me.
She's part of wearing our big girl pants, right, Grace Ann, and having a business. It's just all the stuff that we have to do. And the bigger you get and the more in line your numbers are, the easier it is to scale because you're not having to put all this in place for the first time. So remember that. All right, ladies, we'll see you next Tuesday. We'll see you at the chapter meetings this Thursday. Any of you that was a VIP at the LEAP event, do not forget, we have a training, a post-event training tomorrow on Wednesday. And that post-event training is going to be at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm bringing in Patty Farmer, and she's going to be teaching all of you about media, marketing, and money. So I sent a survey out to all of you to fill out so she can kind of gauge where you are on that, because that is really going to be what helps her dial in on what you guys need the most at that training. This is free. This is part of your bonus as being a VIP to attend that training. So we hope to see you there. All right, Ashley, thanks so much. Thanks, ladies. Have a wonderful rest of your week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye now. All right, let me stop the recording.